The movie begins in ancient Rome. The architect Lucius was famous for designing magnificent baths, what they used to call it. But recently, all customers started to reject his ideas. Because you think he lives in the past, he is not able to come up with anything new and innovative. At home, his wife is always nagging at him because they are broke. He refuses to break his promise. One day, Lucius took him to a public bath to rest a little, but Lucius thinks it's impossible for him to rest there because the place is crowded and full of loud and curious people. He needs some peace and quiet to think. He decided to dive under the water and stay there for as long as possible. He is a self-contained person. At this moment, notice that the water is moving quickly. On the bathtub wall, he will see what is happening in the water up close. But suddenly I was pulled into a hole by a strong pilot. For a few minutes, Flossie was walking through a mysterious tunnel filled with water. But the pilot was very strong and could not float in it. But in the end the pilot stopped. Lucius went up to the roof again. But he found himself not in his Rome bathroom. Lucius doesn't understand what happened, but he has arrived in modern Japan, and now a group of old men in a public bath. They look at the strange side that suddenly came out of the water. Lucius thought that these people were from a strange tribe, and their faces were flat. He started examining the place. I was quickly amazed by all their innovations and inventions. Even simple things like baskets made him surprised. But when it comes to any devices such as massagers or faucets, he thought there were slaves hiding behind and moving these things. At the same time, a manga artist named Mommy appears. Her stories were always rejected, and she went to the bathroom, the same time that Rosius entered by mistake. In the women's changing room, one I screamed and hit him on the head and made him faint. My mom was amazed by Lucius' body and immediately started drawing it. After a while, I took it from the women. When someone woke up and offered him juice, he taught him how to open the bottle. Lucius drank some and was amazed by the taste, to the point that he cried before he fainted again. When Lucius woke up, he found himself in ancient Rome again. The men in the bathroom told him that he drowned in the bathtub. Why are you driving him now? And at that moment, Lucius thought that all of this was a dream. But then he noticed the empty bottle next to him. After 2 months, the bathroom was completely renovated, thanks to Lucius's ideas, which is basically, it was a transfer of things he saw in Japan, and people loved all the little details, from baskets to new drinks and small bottles. Even in the machines that are occupied by slaves, everyone is happy. And Lucius started making a lot of money again. And one day, an old man was relaxing in the water. I wish he could make a bath like this in his house while he is underwater. Lucius began to think if this was possible. But suddenly, another pilot pulled him away. This time, he appeared in the bathroom of a house in modern Japan. After a while, an old man came in and asked him to help him take a shower. But the old man was patient and taught him how to use everything, like a shower cap and a hat that prevents shampoo from reaching your face. At that moment, my mom went into the bathroom because it turned out that this was her house. She was very excited when she saw Lucius again. She ran to get her drawing book, and here Lucius accidentally tried the cologne spray that I got into his eyes. By the time Mommy got back, Lucius was gone. And the first thing he did when he returned to Rome, Lucius brought the ideas from Japan again and made the first private bathtub. This innovation made a big splash again and earned millions. But at home things are not better, because his wife is not happy yet because she wants to have children. But Lucius spends all his time at work. A big fight broke out and his wife left the house. After a while, a messenger came. Lucius sees the emperor. He had heard about Lucius's inventions and wanted to meet him in the bathroom. He is out. Lucius stumbled upon Emperor Shonius' nephew, who was arrogant. He said strong, monstrous words. Lucius was scared, because rumors say that the emperor is very cruel, and he killed all the politicians who opposed him. But when Emperor Hadrian met him, he treated him very well. Hadrianus told him that he loved art. I think what Lucius did in the bathroom is really art, and he proved that he let the moonlight into the bathroom. He was so impressed that he wanted Lucius to give him a personal bath, but it must be full of innovative ideas that have not been implemented yet. Lucius gladly accepted the challenge. That night he walked around the country trying to find Elham. Let the juice of creativity flow. But unfortunately, it is useless. He started to feel guilty because he had no ideas, because all the ideas I've used recently were stolen. Suddenly he fell into a hole and disappeared. At the same time, my mom worked in a hardware store because her journey in the manga is at a dead end. But her new job was very boring. It's so hard to stay awake. When she left the tap open by mistake, the bathtub is full. Suddenly, the whisper appeared in it. He started to get nervous when he felt something strange moving around him. I discovered that the bathtub makes bubbles and stays warm on its own, and he found it very amazing. Then my mom's boss came and scolded her for bringing a man to work. She ordered him to get rid of it. After taking off his wet clothes, he covered himself with a towel. Lucius started walking to learn more. My mom had to follow him and keep him out of trouble. He thought she was working as a maid for him, and Lucius gave her a coin. After that, Lucius started learning everything about modern furniture, personal care products, including how scented candles can be relaxing. And suddenly he goes to the bathroom. He ran until he found the bathroom and was shocked when the seat opened by itself. And think again that this is Obide. He sat looking at the toilet paper while doing his thing. And think that writing this. Secrets of the Flat Faces tribe. The seat had a set of buttons. Lucius tried one and turned on the bidet. And the feeling of cleanliness that I felt there. I made him feel like he was in heaven and made him cry and disappear. At that time, my mom was fired from work. I went back home with the money and the direction. And Lucius, as soon as he returned to Rome, rolled up his sleeves. And he built the perfect bath for Hadrian. He added a seat next to the bathtub and used slaves instead of machines again. Hadrian was very happy with the result. Lucius Valley made a very special necklace in a strange shape with a dog's back. He feels proud. Lucius ran home to show the contract to his wife, but he found her doing bad things with his close friend, and in the end, the two of them separated from each other. At the same time, Mommy gave up the idea of making manga. Since she is not able to hold a job, she decided to return to her small town and help in her family's hotel. She couldn't stop. Thinking of Lucius, she studied Roman history, even Latin. One of the customers turned out to be a group teacher. He agreed to see the coin and the pane that Lucius was wearing. After doing some tests, the professor confirmed that these two things have been done for hundreds of years. Unfortunately, the hotel was not doing well. Mommy's family won't be able to help her for long. Register her in the marriage matchmaking service to find a husband, and then Lucius. And he had very severe depression after his wife ran away with his troublemaker friend. And one day I get close to him, the right hand of the emperor who was worried about Hadrian. It turned out that the emperor was also depressed because he lost his lover. And now I remember that the crocodile is his reincarnation. That's why he gave Lucius a new mission. He designs a place for the crocodile to live comfortably, and he started to revolve around Alham. Lucius went to the emperor's bath. On his way, he met Shonius, who treated him with extreme violence. He interrupted him immediately. The boycott made the lady run away, and Shonius cursed Lucius again before he left. When he reached the bathroom, he checked the water flow in the bathtub, and I'm back to modern Japan. The first thing that appeared was in the lake, and women were celebrating the fertility festival. They think it is a blessing for them. They jumped on him and threw him under the water again. And the next time Lucius appeared, he was in a crocodile cage at a local reserve. And Mommy had a strange date with her future husband. And the first thing she saw was Lucius. She left her appointment to save this strange Romanian man. After the employee took Lucius out of the cage, Lucius took Mommy with him to learn more about crocodile care, indoor plants in the reserve. When he tasted the banana, he liked its taste very much. So much so that he decided to keep it and take it with him to plant more in his country. After that, in front of me, she brought him a yukata. I took him for a walk in the country and enjoyed eating and playing games. Lucius showed off his archery skills while busy. A monkey stole his banana. Lucius went crazy and ran after the animal until he found the hot springs. Here I found the idea of an outdoor bathroom very convenient. He cries at the perfect moment. He saw the banana floating in the water and ran to catch it. But he withdrew again to Rome. After a few days, Lucius finished designing the perfect place for the crocodile. Hadrian was very happy, to the point that he treated Lucius like his best friend and invited him to visit the palace whenever he wants. After a while, Hadrian learned that his soldiers were being attacked by rebels. We want a better leader, and the soldiers followed him to fight the rebels. But the rebels did not surrender. The battle lasted for months and sometimes more than a year. Hadrian grew old. Love retires and leaves the throne to Shonius. Later, Hadrianus addressed Zeus. He is asked to build a new public bath, Canberra Legenius's legit cavil. He thinks that this way he will gain people's support from the beginning. But Lucius hated Saonius. He thought that his arrogance would lead to the Roman Empire. In 60 Dehia, he decided to go see Shonius and refuse the job. What made Shonius think that this was treason and he could be executed for it? He is trying to decide what to do. Lucius is approached by a rival architect. He was very nervous because Lucius had become famous ever since, and the man wounded Lucius with his sword. Before he was thrown into a well, this made him travel again to modern Japan. When Lucius woke up, he found the old men in the hotel, and they take great care of him. Lucius noticed the warmth coming from the ground. What helped him was treating his back, and then the men take him to the hot springs to rest and recover. Lucius saw their scars and thought they were mighty warriors, but in reality, they were wounds from ordinary accidents. The men also offered him some sake, but as soon as he burned Lucius' throat, he thought it was poison and ran. Finally, I found my mommy. He said he was poisoned while lying on the ground. My mom studied 30 now, which is enough for her to understand it. I had him drink water from the hot springs and explained to him that it was healing. Lucius got up and thought he was better, but Saki is still a little dizzy. He fell on mommy and made them both fall into the springs, and they returned to the old Rome. When they woke up, Jans always tried to flirt with mommy and tried to take her, but I stopped from Antonins. After that, Lucius went home and started packing his bag. He intends to escape so that he will not be executed because he has principles. My mom tried to catch up with him to stop him, but she got lost in the country. At this moment, I heard a man reading the latest political news. I remembered something from her history books. At the same time, the older men saw mommy's beret in the water. They jumped to save her, which made them withdraw as well. And we go back to Elysius, who was walking outside the country. In the end, he found hot springs like the ones he saw in Japan. Unfortunately, quickly received from the soldiers, and those who returned him to his home. And my mom welcomed him with a hug. She thought that Shonius did this as revenge because Antonius saved her. But according to history, this is wrong, because it is supposed that Shonius is the one who will go to the provinces. He dies of the plague, which will make Antonius take the throne, and the form of her presence here. This will change history. Then Lucius will face Shonius. His arrogant comments confirmed that he will be a failed leader. Lucius felt that he had let his people down. He is a failure because he is unable to come up with his own ideas. But mommy spoke to him from her heart to show him that he is smart and innovative, because he only saw Japan and was able to restore everything in Rome with his own hands. And now the inspiration. Lucius ran to see Hadrianus. He said he wanted to build a bathroom on the battlefield, helps soldiers recover, and thus they will finally win the battle. Antoninus will not need to go to the provinces. Hadrianus immediately approved the project. I'm not sure. Or you don't believe Lucius when he said it was Antonius' idea. Then Lucius and mommy went to the warm area. Whoever finds it the next day, they can start building. But they did not have enough slaves to make progress. At this moment, Soldiers are beautiful with the great men of modern Japan, and those who agreed to help them. They have an idea to speed up the process. Instead of building a complete bathroom, which would take years, give Ibn Akwak a small cure. They can rest on the warm ground to recover from their injury. They also dug a hole in the ground big enough, a hot spring that can accommodate a group of soldiers at one time. As the days passed, they built more huts and helped more soldiers. And what really helped them continue the battle? And my mom also started drawing signs. She says that Lucius is the one who inspired her to achieve her dream again. After a lot of work, the Romans won the battle. They had a big celebration in the hot springs. And on this night, Mommy and Lucius had a chance to get closer to each other. Lucius smiled at her for the first time, which made my mom cry and her body started to disappear. Lucius realized that he was crying every time he returned to Rome. It is final goodbye. I came back to Japan with the big guys. After a few days, Hadrianus held a public party to congratulate Antonius on his great idea. He announced that he would send Seonius to the provinces in his place. He also said that Lucius deserves appreciation and happiness in front of everyone, which made Lucius cry. And at the moment, Mommy was finally happy. Whose manga was accepted by the editor-in-chief, and who was amazed by her story about Lucius. But when she returned home, she was shocked when she saw Lucius. He is coming out of the fountain. I wish the movie ended and we meet again in a new episode. Thanks for watching.